everyone, welcome back to part 2 of 2 videos about Job, God, and the whole universe. Now, even though we're not all in the same room, we're still gonna learn about this together. So if you are a kid in the sanctuary, you'll come up front to the TV. And if you are a kid at home, you'll get as close to your screen as possible. But to get there, you can either walk like a creeper or somersault like a panda. You choose. Ready, steady, go!
Sempre estar lá e ver ele voltar. Não era mais o mesmo, mas estava em seu lugar. Sempre estar lá e ver ele voltar. O tolo teme a noite, como a noite vai temer o fogo. Eu vou chorar sem medo. Vou lembrar do tempo de onde eu vi o mundo azul.
Oh yeah! I love to see all your smiling faces. So, raise your hand if you remember our story from last week. It's totally okay if you don't remember, or if you're like, what? I didn't even watch the video last week. Well, last week we met a man named Job who had a lot of sad things happen to him. And after spending almost 40 chapters asking God and his friends why he was suffering because he had been kind and loving his whole life, God finally showed up. Only God never gave Job an answer, did she? Instead, God answered Job's question with a lot more questions. So now, let's take a look and see how Job responds to God's response to Job. Our story today comes from Job, chapter 42, verses 1 through 6. There was once a man named Job who suffered a lot of pain and loss. Job wanted God to tell him why he was suffering, but God never gave him an answer. God just asked Job a whole lot of questions about who designed and created the world. When Job responded to God's response to Job, he said, "Wow, I get it now. I thought I could tell you how the world should work, but I was talking about things I didn't understand. Wonderful things I know nothing about. When you showed up and asked me so many questions, I realized just how much I don't know about this world, this universe, or the mysterious ways you move and create. I am a human, and you, God, are endlessly knowable." Even though Job wanted answers to some pretty tough questions, and even though God only answered with more questions, Job still wanted to stick around. He liked knowing there was a God who is not afraid of asking questions. Ooh, now that's what I call una buena historia, a good story. The story of Job in the Old Testament is a pretty weird and confusing one. And what makes it even more difficult is that when it's all over, we realize we don't actually find out why bad things happen in the world. And that isn't really comforting, is it? But do you know what I love about this story? I love that Job asked questions. I love that God asked questions. And I love that after all this, God and Job still want to be friends. Remember when we imagined how boring it would be if God told us all the answers to everything so we would never ever have to learn anything new ever again? Well, this time, let's imagine some of the alternate endings to this Job story. God, why do bad things happen in the world? God? God, where are you? God, why do bad things happen in the world? Wait, who are you? And why are you talking to me? God, why do bad things happen in the world? How dare you question me? Lightning bolts and thunder. Just give me the answer, okay? Just give me. Just give me. Just give it to me, okay? Job, God, you're the worst. I'm never ever talking to you ever again. Wow, this story could have turned out a whole lot different. So maybe this story of Job isn't really about explaining why bad things happen in the world. Maybe it's about a human like you and me asking God some pretty tough questions. And maybe we learn that God isn't afraid to wrestle with those questions with us because God loves asking questions too. And maybe this story shows us that learning and mystery are equally important and amazing. Ooh. So it's all playtime. What does it feel like when you don't understand something? Who can you ask? And where can you go for help? You can share your answers out loud, or you can type them in the chat. What does it feel like when you don't understand something? Who can you ask, or where can you go to find some help? Wow, it sure can be frustrating when you don't understand something. Thankfully, there are lots of people and resources in our lives we can go to help us figure it out, or just to teach us how to be okay with the mystery of it all. So now, if you are a kid in the sanctuary, join us in the Wiggle Space after announcements for a fun activity all about libraries. Yep, libraries. And if you are a kid at home, find some time today or this week to take a trip to your local library and learn something new. I'm so glad we got to spend this time together. I sure do love seeing your curious brains at work. And don't forget, in the words of the great Miss Frizzle, to take chances, make mistakes, and get messy. See you next time.